Alright, what is up everybody? It's your boy Nerdy Rich back on the Nerdy Rich channel, finally doing a brand new review on the Nerdy Rich channel. I have been away for a good minute, and the main reason why I've been away so long is because, you know, gotta get a new camera. Finally got a new camera, my new Sony, so now I can officially get back to what I love, and that is doing reviews. Haven't done an official review in a while, so I am going to be a little rusty. But guys, let me just quickly go over my hyper style one last time, and this will be the last time I will explain it. I will basically do the first half of the video where I'm just talking face to face with you guys. Might have a couple of pictures on screen and stuff like that. Just showing the characters I'm talking about, basically talking about the story and everything that has to do with the story itself. And then the back half being where you're going to start seeing clips and stuff like that will show me talking about each individual character for a bunch of different reasons. So the first movie we are going to be talking about is Terrifier. Now the only reason why I'm not doing All Hallows Eve first, because I want to knock out the 3 Terrifier films first, and then we'll go into that. But when I do start releasing these videos, I will do All Hallows Eve first, Terrifier 1, Terrifier 2, and then Terrifier 3. I will release them all in that order, but I am going to be recording them in the trilogy first, and then that one. The only reason why I'm going to do All Hallows Eve, I'm going to be the last one I'm going to record, because it's an anthology, and it's not really focused on Art the Clown, but I really want to focus on Art as, you know, as these 3 movies all based around him, and eventually what the franchise will go into much later on. I will try not to do as much spoiler as I can, and that's all I can really say. But anyway, let's get into the story of Terrifier 1. Now, in terms of the story of Terrifier 1, there isn't that big of a story. It's just literally, we have 2 plots going on in the entire story. The one at the beginning of the movie, when we get introduced, we get a interview of the survivor of who we later find out is Art the Clown's victim, and the person who survived his attack during Halloween of a year prior. And we get to see what happened to the victim. She is badly mangled, and her face is all messed up because of what happened to her during the events of the later half of the movie that we are going to see. And we're basically trying to figure out how did that woman get into that situation? How did Art even do that to her? And how many bodies did Art the Clown ultimately stack up before that moment even happened? And of course, something happened to the reporter at the beginning. And then we obviously sneak back into what happened to the victim. But we officially start out the movie with Art the Clown, who is getting ready for Halloween night because he's getting ready to go on his murder spree, and he ultimately runs into these 2 characters named Tara and the other character friends. You know, they just came from some type of party, some type of Halloween party, and they're both pretty drunk, but they're trying to, you know, get into the car and try to get themselves home. When they ultimately run into Art the Clown himself, he is literally coming out of his lair, and he's stalking around just trying to find his next victim. He ultimately sees these 2 girls. Of course, they're hassling him a little bit, but nothing really crazy. So at first, he just walks past them and leaves them be, but the girls are still trying to figure out, okay, how the hell do we get home? We're both drunk, and neither one of us can drive at the moment. So Dawn is like, alright, why don't we just go to this pizza shop that's right over here? We go grab a couple slices, and then I should be sober enough where I can at least get us back home. So of course they go to the pizza restaurant, and ultimately they just, you know, try to eat their food and stuff like that when Art the Clown returns. And he's just creeping them out because he's just staring at them, smiling at them, not really saying anything because Art the Clown literally does not speak. So he's just sitting there just creeping them out. And of course, Dawn is like loves his costume and everything, as you guys will see. She'll show you a picture of him and how he looks like. She just likes the way he looks and stuff, like takes a picture. And at first, it's just a little creepy, but nothing serious has happened. Of course, the pizza owner is trying to get Art's order, but he's not answering. And ultimately, he goes off and does his own thing until he eventually gets kicked out of the restaurant. And then that's basically when the movie starts. Because then Art the Clown, as the girls eventually leave and still trying to figure out a way to get home, he brutally attacks both the pizza owner and he also kills the guy that was working in the store with him. And that's ultimately how, and we find out why the girls can't leave because something happened with their tires, and that's basically how the rest of the movie plays out. So the rest of the movie just literally Art just hunting these girls down and trying to kill them until a certain point, and then we eventually get more victims coming in, and then eventually we do get the answer of the beginning of the movie, what happened to the girl at the very beginning, and that's really it, the movie. I just literally explained the movie without giving away all the gory kills and stuff like that, because this is basically David Leone's debut, official debut of the character. Of course, All Hallow Eve we get to see Art for the first time, but this is him in the movie, and he wasn't really focusing on the story. He was just trying to show horror fans hey, this is a guy that could potentially become a new icon of horror, just like your Freddy, your Jason, your Chucky's, and etc. And as a killer, he is perfectly fine in this movie. He does have little funny moments, and he's very messed up just by the way he just kills and stuff like that. Really makes the character interesting. But the thing I hate about the story of this movie is that the two characters we do follow at first, Tara and Dawn, they are such nothing characters. Tara I like a little bit more because I like her personality and her sass. But there's nothing really to them. They're just two drunk two drunk girls that just came out of a party, and then they ultimately get into this weird situation where now they gotta try to escape a serial killer clown. And of course, many stupid decisions and stuff are made, and then eventually we get to the end of the movie, which a couple more characters pops up later on, and the biggest character that pops on is Victoria. She's the sister of Tara, so of course she's trying to go and pick them up because obviously they can't leave because, like I said, the cars got slashed, so now she's trying to find a way over there. And then of course she meets Art, and then they go through their little thing, and then the other victims, they get killed off a very different way. It's really the kills that keeps this movie interesting. It's not the story. There is no story, and I think the director was smart for doing this for the first movie because we needed to know who Art is, but of course you could slip in the story as here as well, but it was really nothing. And then of course we get the shocking ending at the end, which I won't spoil, and then that's pretty much it. Not really much else I could say about the story. Pretty basic. It's just a killer clown going after people and stacking up bodies until we figured out the mystery of the movie, who was the victim at the beginning of the movie, and then they answer that, and then that's literally it. And we also get a setup for Terrifier 2, which I am going to be talking about. It's the characters portion of Terrifier 1. So the first character we're going to talk about is Tara. So Tara, of course, is the black-haired girl. And at first, she's just out with her friend. They just finished being at this party. They're trying to get home. And of course, both of them are drunk. So they're like, okay, let's try to get something to eat. See if we can sober up enough to at least get us back home. And, as they're trying to enjoy the meal and stuff, but then Art comes in, and then obviously they get introduced to Art fully. You see him for a few seconds, but, Dawn is kind of messing with him a little bit, kind of making fun of him a little bit, but kind of playfully. And then obviously Art starts to take a liking to Tara because, Tara is kind of creeped out by him and stuff like that. And of course, they have their back and forth throughout the movie once they get inside this apartment complex. And throughout the whole movie, he's chasing her down and stuff like that. I like that she does get herself together very quickly and try to fight back Art. But, of course, if you know the movie, you know what happens to her. I'm not going to spoil what exactly happened, but I felt like she definitely could have been used a lot more because she's a way more interesting character than the other two characters we're going to talk about outside of course, Art himself. But definitely, if there was more of a story, we could have learned more about her backstory, her motivation. The only thing we know is that her sister, Victoria, is in the movie as well. And she, of course, calls her to be like, hey, can you come and get us? We're stuck at this random place, and we're trying to get back home. And that's pretty much it. But I do like this. At least she tries to fight back against Art. And the next character we're going to talk about is her friend, Dawn. Now, Dawn is Dawn is a funny character. She's very bubbly. She's very energetic. She is very like outgoing, and she's like the one interacting with Ark. She's the one that kind of makes fun of him when they first saw him in the pizzeria. She's like sitting on his lap and stuff like that, and she is trying to like try to get them home because she's like, look, I can at least semi drive. I can get us back. And she tries her best to try to cheer up Tara, try to lighten up the situation, but obviously once Art started to get involved, that completely changed. And then, of course, all I gotta say, she gets the most famous scene in this movie. That's all I can say. But, again, another character could have been used a little bit more, and we could have learned more about her. Like, what party were they coming from? Or were they in school? Or any little more information we could have learned about them. And the last two characters I'm going to talk about is Victoria. Victoria is the older sister of Tara. She's in college. She's studying something, but she got the call for Tara to go and help them. And of course, she drives an hour plus to get there. She gets there, and obviously she's because to find her sister, and then ultimately ends up running into Art. And then of course they have their big final fight at the end of the movie, their big chase scenes or whatever at the end. And she is so bland in this movie because there's really nothing to her other than she's a college student trying to like study and try to do that, and then of course she makes so many stupid decisions in the movie. I'm not saying that Tara didn't make stupid decisions, but at least Tara got herself together way sooner than her own sister. She makes dumb decision after dumb decision after dumb decision to the point where even by the time we reach the end of the movie, she's still making stupid decisions. And there's a lot of time where she could easily escape Art much sooner, but of course she keeps making stupid decisions as well. And of course we got to talk about the main killer himself, Art the Clown. Now, in this movie, I do not feel like Art the Clown is an icon yet. The next two movies would definitely solidify that for me, especially the next movie being Terrifier 2 solidify that for me. But in this one, he's just one of the most brutal human killers we've seen in a long time, because again, he is completely human. He's killing people left and right. He has so many messed up ways, and I love his facial expression, his reaction to everything. And I like that he's very twisted and demented. He just loves this. Like, you could tell this is the job for him. Even at the beginning of the movie, we get to see him like dress up in his gear, and you could tell he just loves this shit. And that's what I really like about Art, is that he's just a fun killer. It's been a while since we had an actual fun killer. Just somebody who likes to kill, and it's just get a thrill off of it. Like, get a sick, twisted thrill off of it. And of course, he's the star of the movie. I mean, it's not even about the girls, it's really about him, because the creator wanted to show Art as a concept. Obviously, if you see All Hallow Eve, you saw him for the first time, but this is really Art just being Art the Clown himself. And he does do a good job. He's literally the best part of the movie. And that's it for the character portion. So I am going to, any last minute stuff I gotta say. The music was pretty good. Nothing crazy going on. I wish that, the creator was able to come up with some type of a theme for Art. Art has his own special theme, just like how Michael Myers has his own, Jason Voorhees has one, Freddy Krueger has his own, like all the big dogs have one, but definitely he needs his own official theme of his own, and that would have definitely helped out. But overall, I thought this was I think it's an movie. It's not bad, it's not good, it's just in the middle, because there are some great kills. But again, there's no story, barely any character development. We're just literally watching the character die. It's really just the Art the Cloud show, and it has a good shocking ending. But other than that, it's just nothing really there. And of course, the mystery at the beginning, who's the girl that got her face mangled by Art the Clown? We do get the answers for that. But overall, it's just an okay movie. If you do like Terrifier 1, let me know why in the descriptions down below in the comments. And that's all I really got to say. It's good to be finally back on YouTube. But anyway, I'm going to wrap this up here. So don't forget to comment, rate, subscribe as always. Don't forget to like the video. And I will catch you guys later. Peace. Oh, and if I do get this out of Halloween, happy Halloween. If I get this a little bit later.